All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little video on Brock Purdy, what's real and what's fake, what's actual and what's conjecture. We'll get to that next on Brock Purdy. But first, we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out in Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. Pig and a Pickle. Check them out. Go say hi to Damon and Mary. Tell them that Krug sent you. And this video is brought to you by Mojo Fantasy. Check that link in the description. Make sure you use the promo code Krug at mojofantasy.com and get up to $100 matched on your first deposit. Everybody who does it automatically is entered into a drawing to win a Bosa or a Purdy jersey, which we will give away on Thanksgiving night. All right, let's talk a little bit about Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy is playing really, really well. Against Jacksonville, Brock Purdy threw the ball beyond 20 yards 6 times. And he completed all 6 of his passes for 163 yards and 3 touchdowns. He was credited with 2 big-time throws, according to PFF. And on the season, Purdy has attempted 37 passes behind the line of scrimmage, and he's thrown the ball over 20 yards on 30 of those 37 passes. So, you know, one of the funny yet ignorant statements made about Brock Purdy this summer, he's dink and dunk. He's dink and dunk. He's not going to drive the ball down the field. And the numbers show that that's all the guy does is drive the ball down the field. He's thrown the ball at least 20 yards down the field, 30 of his 37 pass attempts this year. He's completed 20 of those 30. And then you mix in the fact that he had a couple drops in there as well. You're talking about completing 73% of your passes down the field. I mean, even if you add the drops and factor that in, he's completing 66% of his passes down the field. That's 6 points higher than the quarterback in second place. He's also thrown the second most touchdown passes over 20 yards and has the second highest passer rating on those throws. So it's funny. I mean, people look at, people always say, well, don't judge a book by its cover. But, man, they really do judge Brock by what he looks like. He looks like a smaller guy. And so everybody's like, he's got no arm. But the 49ers have had the best passing offense in the NFL by a comfortable margin. And a lot of it is because of Brock Purdy's ability and willingness to throw the ball down the field. The Texans are second in passing DVOA at 47.9%. The Niners are first at 66.6%. And that's going against the 6th toughest schedule in all of football. So, the notion is that Brock Purdy doesn't throw the ball down the field. But the facts are that he actually does throw the ball down the field, and he has a lot of success throwing the ball down the field. Against Jacksonville, Purdy completed 19 of 26 passes for 296 yards overall, 3 touchdowns, and he had a career-high passer rating of 148.9. But it is interesting if you say to most people, "Hey, Brock Purdy, what kind of player is Brock Purdy? Is he a short thrower? What is he a big arm, deep threat guy?" Almost everybody would say, he's Captain Checkdown, but he's not Captain Checkdown. This guy's not Alex Smith. This guy takes shots down the field, and it's pretty clear that that's kind of his MO. If there's a weakness in his game, it's that he doesn't always take care of the football, and he threw 33 interceptions in college, and sometimes will put the ball in harm's way. But if you look at it, it's really, the guy is playing really, really well. I mean, even during the 3-game losing streak, Purdy threw 5 picks, and, Shanahan was asked, "Are you going to bench Purdy?" And he's like, "No, I'm not benching him." And in fact, Shanahan said, "I love having a guy who isn't thinking about being benched." Purdy has thrown for 2,329 yards and 15 touchdown passes to 5 interceptions on 172 of 250 passing this season. So according to Shanahan, he says he's trying to make the right decisions, letting it rip. And he'll live with the consequences and try to get better when it doesn't go in his way. So the Niners have gone 13-4 now in Purdy's starts. So he's played a full NFL season and they've gone 13-4. And where does he rank? He ranks second in the NFL in QBR at 72.7, first in yards per attempt at 8.9 per attempt, sixth in completion percentage at 68.1%, fifth in touchdown passes with 31, and third in touchdown to interception ratio, 3.9. So, I mean, the 49ers have to love what they're getting out of Brock Purdy right now because he's playing really well. And, you know, as long as he takes care of the football, I think they're going to be pretty happy with what they get out of Brock. You know, he's throwing the ball, not that much. He's only throwing at 26.3 attempts per game, which is 23rd in the league since he's been the starter. Why? Because the Niners believe in running the heck out of the football. You know, they run the ball. They run the ball a lot. So they're not asking him to shoulder the entire load. They're just asking him to kind of play clean football. He's got 8 interceptions. That's tied for 12th fewest in the league. And he's lost 3 fumbles. So it's not like he's, and I thought it was really interesting. There was an article that I read today on Purdy where he was asked about his performance and what he's learned in his 1 year of being the 49ers starter. And I love this quote. He said, and he didn't hesitate when he said this. He was asked what's been the biggest thing that he's learned as a starting quarterback. He said, just not being stupid, playing consistent football. If you can make the right decisions consistently over and over and over and not get bored, just take the profit with the checkdowns and being smart, I think that allows you to have success as a quarterback. A full season under my belt, 17 games now, that's what I think is the biggest thing. And you know what? That's the right mindset for Brock Purdy. It's funny, people call him dink and dunk, but he takes shots down the field. If anything, he needs to be more dink and dunk. He needs to be more conservative. He needs to be more patient. He needs to take what the defense gives him more and not put the ball in harm's way as much. Why? Because he's got great weapons. He's got a great team around him. He's got a great run game. He's got a great defense. He's the one thing that is his weakness is that he's got turnover potential. The stat that jumps out to me is through 9 games this year, he's got 14 what they call turnover-worthy plays. That's the 6th most in the NFL, and that comes after he had 7 in 10 games in his 2022 campaign. So, that's where he needs to be better. He needs to check it down more. He needs to take care of the football a little bit better, be a little bit more patient. But some of these numbers, Purdy leads the NFL in yards per attempt, average 8.9 since he became the 49ers starting quarterback. And he's pushing the ball down the field. And, this is all in the process of pushing it down the field. Since he's taken over as the Niner quarterback, his 7.5 air yards per attempt ranks 19th in the league, far ahead of Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, and others. His 19.25 true air distance per completion is 12th in the league. His 10.5% of his throws traveling 20-plus yards in the air, that's 16th in the league. This is not like something that happened before he was here. Before he was here, Niner quarterbacks threw 8.1% of their attempts 20-plus yards down the field from 2017 until Purdy took over. That was last in the NFL. So he's given the 49ers something that they didn't have before he was there. Purdy's been really good at taking shots down the field. Among qualified quarterbacks, he's 4th in completion rate at 52%, 9th in yards at 779, 8th in yards per attempt at 15.6, and 6th in touchdowns, 8th in QBR on throws traveling 20-plus air yards down the field. So it's funny. The myth is that he's dink and dunk. In reality, that's judging the book by the cover, and that's false. That's not what he is. He's taking shots down the field. If anything, he needs to take fewer shots down the field and do a little bit better job of protecting the football. But I love that quote. He said, hey, look, just don't be stupid. Play consistent football. Make the right decisions consistently over and over and over again. Don't get bored. He says, just take a profit with checkdowns and being smart. I think that allows you to have success as a quarterback. So not only has Brock been aggressive, not only has he taken shots down the field, he's now, after a full season of playing games, understands the need to check it down, to take what the defense gives you, to be protective of that football. And I'm really eager to see what comes of it here in the second half of the year. We know he's aggressive. We know he can make plays down the field. We know the dink and dunk moniker was absolute ignorance. But now we're also finding out that his weakness is that he takes too many shots and he has too many turnover-worthy plays. And he needs to work on being patient and checking it down and take better care of the football. But he knows it too. And now that he knows it too, are we going to see his best stretch of football right now? That's what I'm eager to see coming down the stretch. All right, thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Thanks to Mojo Fantasy. I'm loving Mojo Fantasy. Check that link in the description. Make sure you use the promo code Krug, and you'll get up to $100 matched on your first deposit. Everybody who does enters into a drawing to win a Purdy or a Bosa jersey on Thanksgiving night. And thanks to all you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.